Alrighty, we got a match between Chorus and Naesala for the CornGuilds Second Edition mix. I'm joined by Bienchen.
Hello.
So I believe this is the last match of the group stage.
Oh, and it's not the last match of the group stage. It's the first match from Chorus and the third match from Naesala. So both are strong players. Will be an interesting match, I guess. There are 5 players in the gold divisions and 2 advance to the main bracket after the group stage.
Alrighty, let's see our first kingdom.
Okay.
So we're seeing a lot of Cornucopia and guilds in this tournament, although the kingdoms aren't exclusively Cornucopia-Guilds. It's just heavily centered on them.
Yeah, it's a high percentage of the CornGuilds cards.
Alright, what do we got here? Certainly everything you need to get going. You got Sauna, Remake, and Exorcist for trashing. Oh, Cemetery as well. Plaza's a village. Sauna could be a village. There's villages in the rewards pile from Joust. And for draw, you got Menagerie, you got Hunting Party, and again, some of the rewards. Not sure offhand how you open here.
I think I would go Remake for trash.
I'm partial to Exorcist. I could never turn down Exorcist, but I think Remake is also the other strong contender. I think Remake makes most sense to me if you open it with Secret Cave. I think one of the downsides of Remake is often, like with the 2-card trashers like Remake and Steward and stuff, is in your average hand, you got a Remake and you get 4 cards, you trash 2 of them. You're usually left with 2 money at the end of that. And so I think, Remake is often stronger when you've got like a good 2-cost card that you want to buy there. And none of this exists in this kingdom, but let's say you had Secret Cave turn 3, you set aside 3, well, you'd still be hitting 5 on your Remake turn, and that would be a pleasant outcome.
That's true.
My case for Exorcist would be, like I said, trashing 1, potentially as good as trashing 2 if you get to buy a 3-cost here, and Wisp is a unique card that helps you activate your magic lamp earlier. So I wouldn't mind picking up one of those. But I think both of those are reasonable. Looks like they both chose the Remake route, so we'll not see which one prospers. Menagerie is definitely going to be a really strong card in this kingdom.
Yeah, I think so.
Basically, double laboratory.
I'm always a bit confused when there is Magic Lamp and Haunted Mirror there.
Yeah. Yes.
And I always have to read which one does what. So for the lamp you need 6 uniques, and the mirror you trash and discard an action, right? Oh, Naesala already
turn
the lamp.
5.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Nice.
Speedy.
Yeah, definitely speedy.
Yeah, Menagerie is just like a double laboratory for 3 if you can activate it. And here, there's a lot of stuff helping you activate it. Plaza can discard your coppers, Secret Cave can discard your coppers or your estates, and 2 of your coppers that you start with are actually uniquely named cards, and so they don't interfere with the activation.
Do you think
that was fast?
Okay. And a fast resign. Okay. Wow, this was a.
Yeah, I guess with Joust around, was that turn 6 or something? The turn 6 province makes some sense because you could have gotten the rewards. the hand that they had, I was expecting them to remodel or remake the silver into a cemetery and then trash all their coppers that way to get thinner faster and then pick up a 5 cost. But I think that made sense.
That was really fast.
Yeah, that was some pretty fortunate early shuffles. So
yeah.
All right, this kingdom, just first glance, does not look nearly as strong to me. You still got Hunting Party, which is a very strong card, but
the
rest of it,
no village, right?
There's Dame Molly hiding somewhere in the Knights pile as a village.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's what you got to work with here.
And shop is you can play an action you don't have a copy of in play, right? So
yeah. So shop can't be a village. It's kind of like vassal in that if you meet the condition, it's functionally non-terminal because you don't take an action on your next card. It breaks even. But yeah, you kind of, it's one of those kingdoms where you pick which terminal you want to play with and then you stick to it. I'm not sure which one that is.
I think Merchant Guild makes sense to me, but you have Bison if you go with Hack of Loot as well.
Merchant Guild Stampede, that's a thing. That's totally a thing. I forgot about that. So you play your Merchant Guild, you buy Stampede, and then you're going to draw most of your deck the following turn, and then you can do it again, but you're generating like 5 coffers every time.
That's neat.
I think that's pretty strong.
That's a nice... I think.
So, actually, I think, having noticed that, Bargain for Merchant Guild looks like definitely the correct opening. Also, there's Magic Lamp again, so Stampede helps you hit that.
Yeah. But this time it's the only lamp, yeah. No mirror.
Yeah.
Bargain for Hunting Party, okay. I mean, hunting parties are strong, definitely.
The Hunting Party open, I don't know how I feel about that. So, if your 3-cost card is something that you really want to play, Hunting Party kind of makes a lot of sense to me. Like Hunting Party Steward, for example, or Hunting Party Masquerade, because your Hunting Party is going to help you find the card you actually want to play, and then you play it. None of the 3s here jump out to me as incredibly strong or impactful. And so the Hunting Party doesn't seem like it's doing all that much early.
Yeah. But both went for Hunting Party as first 5.
Yeah, I think it's easy to me. Like, I didn't even notice the Merchant Guild Stampede thing at first glance. But definitely if you notice that synergy, I think Merchant Guild is the correct opening.
Yeah, I think so. Do you think this can score a bunch with marchlands?
So I was just thinking about that a second ago. In terms of how I would expect, like the deck that I'm imagining it to play out, it's been forever since I've seen these two particular cards together, Merchant Guild and Stampede. I think in an ideal setting, what happens is you have some number of villages, and then what you're building towards is like a turn where you play like 2 villages, 3 Merchant Guilds, and then you buy like 4 Stampedes or something, and then you're generating like 60 coffers or something off of that. Where like you go from 1 Merchant Guild to 2 to 3, and then like that gets really fast. And if that were your deck, Marchland would be phenomenal because you have more coffers than you could possibly spend, and then converting it to free victory points that don't cost to buy seems great. I think in this kingdom, the way I would expect it to play out is more a single Merchant Guild. You do the Stampede stuff a bit to kick things off and activate the lamp, and then you're probably buying provinces 1 or 2 at a time. And then maybe you don't have as much surplus coffers. And so I would probably expect some number of marchlands to get bought, like when you have estates in hand and stuff, but wouldn't be as essential as if we had like Merchant Guild and a village and Stampede.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
But neither of them has touched Merchant Guild yet, so maybe we're not going to see that at all. Also worth noting, Sack of Loot has a minor synergy with Merchant Guild in that you gain something in your buy phase and you get a coffer. As does Popping Secret Lamp with a Merchant Guild in play. You get 3 coffers off of the 3 wishes you gained.
Yeah, that's nice.
But they have no interest in such things. Ooh, can you discard here? So like the 2 things you'd ideally want to do here is discard your estates to Secret Cave, play your Acolyte, and kill your Stonemason. But if you do both of those things, like you discard Copper Estate, you play Acolyte, you are 1 short of activating the lamp because you only have 5 uniques. So the question is, do you discard to Secret Cave or do you use the Acolyte effect? I'm inclined to say Acolyte's more important.
Yeah, I would try to pop the lamp for sure, so that's probably...
Yeah, for sure, I would expect them to pop the lamp. Like, the 2 ways one would be able to do that would be, like, you could choose, yes, I'll discard a Secret Cave, and I won't play the Acolyte. Or you could not choose to discard, and then do play the Acolyte.
Wait, can you still activate if you discard 3? Did I miscount?
Yeah, so I might have phrased that poorly, but like the way to activate discarding would be you discard like Stonemason and 2 estates, and you'd play the Acolyte, but it wouldn't do anything, and then you'd have 6 in play.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm interested if they see it later with Stampede Merchant Guild, or if they just...
Yeah. Unfortunately, once you got all the good stuff in your deck, you're probably missing the window. I wonder if that might have been a reasonable turn to consider it. So Chorus' starting hand, they had 2 coppers and a sack of loot. They played a hunting party, and then they found a copper and a wish. So if they played the wish and gained a Merchant Guild there, and then they play the sack of loot and they play some coppers. 1, 2. Ooh. I don't think they could have bought Stampede there. Because to hit 5, they would need to play 3 coppers, and then that would be 1 too many. So I guess that, yeah, at this point, your deck's probably got too much other stuff in it to reasonably hit the 5 or fewer restriction.
Yeah, maybe. Do you know about the hunting party split?
That's a good question. Not at all. I can find out. Gains a hunting party.
Okay, what do you do with
Looks
your
like
wish
it's
here?
6-4 in favor of Chorus, which I presume is a product of they pop their lamp first and then turn the wishes into hunting parties.
Yeah, and Chorus Stonemason for 2 hunting parties early on.
So what do we do with the wish, I think was the question.
Yeah.
Wish I had an answer. My first instinct is sack a loot.
Oh, someone has 2 sack of loots. I missed that. I think Chorus is probably thinking about the same. What should the wish do here?
I'm guessing they already have a sack of loot. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. And
yeah, they have. Yeah.
I feel like the correct number of those is usually 1, so it's not like I'm desperate for another sack of loot. But I don't see anything else that looks phenomenal either. Marchland, exciting.
Marchland, okay. Interesting. I did not expect that.
Okay. Yeah. Now I'm a little lost. That's definitely not how I would have done that. I followed them as far as like gaining the marshland. That's reasonable. You know, nothing jumps out as great. You can discard it for some coins. But rather than having 11 money and then buying a 3-cost card that's not really going to matter, I would have just kept the Stonemason and the Acolyte in hand and turned it into a gold.
Mm-hmm. And Naesala struggles to pop the lamb.
Like, Stonemason can be a good card in the deck in a kingdom where you've got more deck control and are trying to pile out. That is not these kingdoms. I would rather get rid of it. Or even if you wanted the Stonemason, you could have kept Stonemason in a copper and trashed a copper with the Stonemason and still hit 8.
Yeah, I think in this case for Chorus, I would just kill a copper. And how can you get rid of the stonemason? You can't, right?
Acolyte can trash action cards.
Oh, Acolyte, yes. Sure, I forgot.
Does anyone happen to know why Donald X put Marchland in the mix? I'm going to guess it's new and shiny, and so people would want to play with it. I'm not really sure offhand what qualifies as like stuff that goes well with the Cornucopia-Guilds expansion. Given that like 99% of all Dominion games I've played are just full random, I don't have a strong sense of like the themes of expansions and what synergizes with those themes. So I just have to trust in the process and assume that this was a well-designed mix of cards.
Yeah, Donald does a great job in setting these mixes. I really like to play them. They are really fun kingdoms most of the times.
I heard this mix has clashes. It has clashes in it? Oh, I sure hope
Yeah,
not. That's unfortunate.
it has clashes in it.
So what are the major themes of... So Guilds has coffers and overpay, I think, are the two things. And then Cornucopia is like having a variety of different cards, like Menagerie, for example. And what else? Is that it?
I have no idea. I started playing
Yeah.
after Menagerie, and so I don't know which card goes to which expansion usually.
Yeah, I had that feeling for the longest time. I started playing after Nocturne. And so, like,
Oh,
Renaissance and stuff onward, in my mind, are all, like, distinct expansions. Because, like, I remember all those cards coming at a particular point in time, but everything pre-Renaissance is, like, that's, like, a big group of undifferentiated cards. And it took a long time to have a good sense of, like, oh, Merchant Guild is from Guilds. I guess that one's given away by the name, but you get the idea.
I think Menagerie came out right after I started playing, and there was this X for Menagerie button, and every time I clicked it, I thought it does nothing. So what is this button for? Because all cards were just new to me, so I had no idea that
That's
this
funny.
changes anything.
I have to imagine that is the experience of a lot of players, because that was Menagerie came out right when the pandemic hit, and there's a huge spike of players who were stuck inside, and all of a sudden decided to play Dominion. And so I think you must have joined at the time that everyone was getting into the game.
Yeah, I started in the pandemic, in the first lockdown.
Yep. Surely one buys province here, right?
I think so. But Cora's thinking makes me think that she wants to do something different.
I don't know. I would think the only other candidate would be something like Marchland and Estate. But with 3 provinces left, buying province looks really appealing. Because now you have a points lead and there's 2 provinces left.
Okay.
I don't think these decks have a great chance of hitting double province. So you want the province pile to be at 2.
Yeah.
I would have thought. Whereas if you leave the 3rd province, well, they get to buy the province, and then you can't respond with province, or they are likely to win. But we're going for the marshlands.
Mm-hmm.
So that marshland is currently only worth 2 points, it looks like. I mean, they can get up to a higher number if you go heavy for the estates. But, is
Interesting.
So, I mean, this deck has a bunch of wishes. But, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, are the wishes getting you double province? I don't know. I don't think so. Marshlands here, I think, is a good
Yeah,
choice.
merchants. Yeah.
It's points in its own right, and it's also for money. Definitely seems the right call.
Yeah, I think it's just about greening now for both, so the wishes are pretty good for just gaining duchies or marchlands now. When I first read Marchland, I thought it's not a great card, but after I played a bunch of games with it, it can be really strong.
Yeah, I definitely think Marshland has a lot of utility. There's a lot of times where, like, at face value, it looks like Silk Road, where you're thinking, am I going for the Marchlands rush and just trying to get a ton of victory cards? Kind of like Silk Road, which is a terrible card, but when it was good, it was when you could shove a ton of victory cards in your deck. But I feel like Marchland being 5 makes it much harder to do any sort of like rush where you're just piling out the Marchlands really fast. But by contrast, it's a much better card because of this on gain effect, where you have a lot of turns where like you drew your deck and you just got a bunch of provinces or estates or something sitting in your hand that you're doing nothing with, and you might as well take a free marshland if it's going to pay for itself by discarding 5 cards, and it might only be worth 2 or 3 points, but it's effectively like 0-1 money, and that just makes it, I think, relevant a lot of the time.
Yeah, I felt like the discard effect is really strong sometimes.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, this is just close here.
So this looks like a
It's
poor
only 7.
spot for a chorus. So they don't have enough gains to pile up the estates, which is a bummer.
Yeah, it's
And they don't have a good
just
way
missing a.
to stop Naesala from doing it.
Yeah, but what did you as chorus here? You go just duchy and nothing?
That sounds like it's probably the correct answer. You
I feel like
buy
you
it.
can't get another estate.
Stampede makes sense to me as well.
Oh, Stampede,
Yeah,
okay.
you just kind of
Yeah,
you're praying your opponent doesn't have 3 buys, which we know that they do, but Chorus
yeah.
didn't know that. And that'll do it.
Oh, it's yeah. That's a lot of buys for Naesala.
I believe that's 2-0
Okay,
for
this
Naesala.
was yes. Quick games.
Oh, this is explosive. Oh my. So Livery potentially generates a huge number of horses with the right set of enablers, but has a hard time getting going. And both Farrier and Madman from Hermit do a great job of kickstarting your deck. So I think some combination of Madman and Farrier into Livery overpay. Hospery too also is a good way to accelerate your deck. You draw your deck once with some liveries in it, and then you buy some stuff, and then your deck's full of horses, and you never have to worry again. Also, Merchant Guild plus livery is totally a thing. You play a Merchant Guild on that turn where you're generating 20 horses, and now you've also got 20 coffers. So that's on the radar. The other thing to think about is, what about just like Merchant Guild buying hostelries and getting a ton of coffers that way? Also a thing. A lot of synergies here.
The trash is not that great.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you really need it. I mean, maybe you get lucky and get a prize gold.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect to see looting get bought here. I mean, it's okay-ish, but the other stuff looks way stronger. And the other thing, like, there is a synergy between Soothsayer, which gains you gold, and Encampment. But that also strikes me as too slow. I don't want to spend a $5 buy on a Soothsayer. Encampment is nice, but you can definitely play without it. I think this is about Livery and Merchant Guild. I'm not sure which of those is the high priority, which you get first.
Yeah, and I think Livery Merchant Guild is really strong.
Yeah. I'm thinking Merchant Guild first. You can turn those coffers into Farrier overpay. It's like Hermit gain you Madman, buy a Merchant Guild at some point. You draw your deck with the Madman, and then with your Merchant Guild in play, you buy a Hostelry, gain a bunch of horses. Now you have a ton of coffers, and you're going to draw your deck again. And from there on out, you can start using all the coffers you're generating on Farrier overpay, and then maybe you add a livery in there at some point. But actually, you might be able to sustain yourself on like Merchant Guild plus Farrier for a while.
I think that's a level of play where I'm clearly not at, and so I have no idea. I think I would go for livery first because I want the horses and it gives me 3 money. But yeah, I believe in you that it's better to go Merchant Guild first.
Yeah, I think my final answer is Merchant Guild first. I think in large part on account of Farrier means Merchant Guild can kind of do what Livery is doing anyway, which is you generated coffers, but then you converted those coffers back over to draw. We'll see what they do. Which I assume they opened double Hermit, but I didn't actually look. Oh, Hermit Farrier, intriguing. I would have just opened double Hermit. Better way to guarantee finding a Hermit is just having 2 of them. But I mean, Hermit Farrier seems alright. It's basically like Farrier for 4 is basically just like a fancy expedition. What you did is you drew 2 cards for your turn 3, which it looks like nice. Oh no, they both found the Hermit turn 3. So if you have an 11 card deck and you drew, I mean you technically have a 12 card deck, you could just like not play your Farrier, but you have 11 stop cards in your deck. You'd be much happier finding your Hermit turn 3 than turn 4, because now you're triggering a shuffle turn 4, and you really want the Hermit and the Madman to be back in that shuffle. So the Hermit Farrier line, I think, has a pretty good upside case, which is the more likely of the 2 scenarios is you find your Hermit turn 3, and then it shuffles back in early. The downside case is if your Hermit's on the bottom 5, or bottom 4, I guess, then it misses the shuffle. Ooh, an encampment. How did that get in this deck? They bought 2 encampments. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm good. Without a goat, I'm a bit confused, but
I'll admit I haven't followed the last few turns very closely. Maybe there's a rationale for this, but I am incredibly surprised to see that plunder was revealed, let alone gained, in this kingdom. How did we get to this stage? I'm not even convinced that with these encampments in the deck, buying that plunder made sense. Like, surely it's a good card, and wow, they top decked it with 2 encampments. So the draws are in their favor, but I think even with all that, Merchant Guild seemed like the higher priority to me.
Yeah, I mean, Chorus is just blowing the encampments for draw now, and
so presumably this is Hostelry now.
You don't have a buy. I mean, you can Farrier overpay a bunch here probably, but I'm not sure if that's. Oh, okay, gaining horses is also a great thing.
So, if you had, 6 coppers in a livery, and you play the livery, you play a copper, you buy a hostelry, you're getting 6 horses worth of draw. If you
Mm-hmm.
buy a farrier and overpay 7, you're getting 7 horses worth of draw. Or you're just getting 7 draw. So you do get 1 more draw out of the farrier line.
Mm-hmm.
So that might have been the better play. The upside to hostelry is you get an extra village on your deck, which you might need. Farrier, of course, gives you an extra plus buy to work with. So the fact they bought hostelry suggests they probably need the village effect, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Why are we buying more encampments? I'm not a believer. I'm so not a believer in this encampment plunder stuff.
I just don't know. I mean, I played Chorus a bunch of times, and she is really strong, and she always had a nice strategy for. There were always
I'm gonna say
really cool
it's
wins
Naesala's
there.
fault. Naesala has won the previous 2 games, and you watch the opponent who's beat you by plunder, and you're like, oh, they must know what they're doing. Clearly, this plunder card is a good card. Presumably just a silver, I guess. Nothing terribly important for this hermit to do. And then for the buys, I think you're just buying Merchant Guild and Farrier. Yeah. Buy 1 Merchant Guild, and then you buy a Farrier and overpay by whatever's left. 6. Okay. Oh, what are you doing? The fact they're playing some of their copper suggests that they're doing hostelry instead. I think Merchant Guild hostelry would also be fine. I don't need the village at this point, so I just take the 1 extra draw from Farrier. But if I were buying Merchant Guild hostelry, I'd only need 9 money in play. The 10 is suspicious. You're not buying another plunder, are you, Chorus? Why would they? What are you buying for 10 money? Okay, yeah. Get that copper back out of play. Okay, what'd they do? Hostelry, livery. Same spirit, but I think Merchant Guild seems clearly the better of the 2 choices there. Oh no, we've lost Bienchen. That encampment has gone back to the supply where it belongs. Oh, Naesala, no. Oh no. Like there are kingdoms where the encampment split is incredibly significant, where it's like the only draw and or the only actions. And if you have that encampment in hand, but you don't see your gold or your plunder, you just don't play it because the risk of losing it is too dire. This is so far from one of those kingdoms. If Chorus discovers that Merchant Guild exists, it's all over. But last game did suggest they might have reached a mutual non-arbitrage pact Alrighty. Merchant Guild. I still think the answer is Merchant Guild Farrier. If you have the village space, Farrier over... Oh, actually, with 2 liveries in play, Farrier and Hostler are drawing you an equivalent number of cards. So the question is, do you want the village effect more, the buy effect more? At the moment, your deck doesn't really need either of them. But Merchant Guild, for sure. And then either Farrier or Hostler for draw. "14 suggests you could do, I think, 2 Merchant Guilds and a Hostler would also be fine. You're drawing a little bit less from the Hostler, but you're getting 2 horses off the extra Merchant Guild, so... Just more liveries. Do you need that many horses? Yeah, okay. They thought about it. They realized, I'm gaining a bunch of horses in my buy phase. They didn't think about it. They... Never mind. It was not thought about at all. They did think about it, but they didn't get a Hostler or a Farrier. You don't need the 4 liveries. You're going to have like 200 coffers next turn. At least one of those liveries, probably both, should have just been Hostler or Farrier to make sure you don't dud. Are you alive?
Yeah, I'm back, but I don't know how good the connection is because it's via my mobile phone now.
Aha. I can hear you all right.
Discord crashed on my PC and I couldn't reconnect. I don't know why. What did I miss?
Well, you missed that someone noticed Merchant Guild.
Oh, wow.
And so, if they draw their deck, they're about to have unlimited buying power. But they were also a little bit greedy with their buys, so there's a chance that they dud. Looks like we're getting through it. I don't know how many more horses are down there. Actually, it looks like we might not be getting through it. There's only 2 more horses in the... Yep, this was self-imposed. This will still be plenty.
So what do you do now?
You buy things, and then you get 1,000,000 horses, and then you get 1,000,000 coffers off of those horses, and then you are a happy camper. I'm a little worried about what these bottom 7 cards are. I don't actually know, but they have, at maximum, a single horse. And so I'm wondering if you have to buy a Farrier just to kick off. Because like if you buy just a ton of 4-cost or 5-cost cards here, your deck will be full of horses, or your discard pile will be full of horses. And so if you can trigger that shuffle, you're probably in a good spot. I don't. Are these 7 cards stop cards? I don't know.
There are at least 3 coppers, I guess.
I think the safe thing to do here, I think, is to spend your last few coins on a Farrier overpay to just make sure. Yeah, here we go. Make sure you don't dud.
Yeah.
Which is what they should have done the previous turn, and they learned their lesson the hard way.
And there's a last drawing deck as well. I mean...
But Naesala does not have a Merchant Guild.
No, unfortunately not.
Oh yeah, better than the Capper. It's kind of tough to draw with only 20 horses. Alright, looks like Naesala is going to be a little bit late. This looks like about a turn and a half too late.
Yeah. Chorus has a huge deck. So, but there were a bunch of horses in there, right?
Yep. Yeah, Chorus do draw the deck here. There's like 13 horses in the deck, I think.
Oh well, yeah, that's a lot.
I'm gonna guess they've got the win in hand. Let's see, how many gains do you need? 10 gains? We have 9. Yeah, we have 10 buys. Can they afford? How much is that? 7 5-cost cards would be 35 plus 6 for the fairies. 41 money. Do you have 41 money? 15 coffers, 11 in treasure. Ooh, they might be a little bit shy. So 15 coffers, 11 in treasure, makes 26, 28 with the merchant guilds, 37 with deliveries. You could gain a silver off of the hermit, but that only gets you to 39. Is there... I don't think they have the actions to autopile hermits. Like, they have extra draw. So imagine if they had unlimited villages here. They could play hermit, gain hermit, play hermit, gain hermit. But they don't have enough terminal space to do all that. Oh, this... No, never mind. So hermit gaining a farrier is conserving you... It's like 2 gains, effectively. But the problem with the gains, it was money. Or did they hit it?
I don't know.
I guess they did.
What is the fire?
Did I miss some amount of money? Where did I miscount?
Oh wow, nice.
Was there an extra card in their deck that was worth money? I must have miscounted that somehow.
I'm not sure what the last card was. I was confused about the discard of the coppers, but that made sense. Interesting game for sure.
Maybe were there coppers in the discard already? Maybe that's what I missed. I don't know.
No, there was one card left in the pile, and she discarded 2 coppers with a Hamlet.
All right. Well, another kingdom. Once again with Merchant Guild.
Ferryman. Ferryman Siren. That's interesting.
Interesting. So, I don't see any notable siren synergies in this kingdom. There's stuff that can help you to get a siren without paying the action cost of trashing something. So, for example, anything that lets you top deck cards. You can buy a siren and then use like a tracker or a bauble or whatever to top deck the siren. And then because it's moved, the trash effect fails. But there's none of that in this kingdom. With the, of course, technical exception of you could buy a wealthy village, gain an insignia. There's a 1 in 15 chance. And that could do it. But that's not something you can play around, obviously.
Where's your draw here? Just a 1, 2? But you do not really want this, probably.
Farrier as well.
Yeah.
Like, once again, I think something like Farrier Merchant Guild could be a strong combo. Young Witch seems atrocious to me. I didn't even notice that was in the kingdom. Once again, I would just buy 2 hermits.
2 hermits, that's an interesting open. I wouldn't consider that.
To me, that's just like the default open in a hermit kingdom. I was uninspired by these young witches. That's true. Like you buy 2 hermits, you trash your estates, you don't buy anything on the turn when you do that, you let the hermits become madmen, you make sure to gain at least 1 more hermit off of your first 2 hermits, then you draw your deck, you play that hermit, you trash your last estate, and now you've got all your cards in hand, you can buy whatever you want, and your deck Has no more states in it. It's just a lovely way to start the game. Big fan of Hermit.
Oh, and Young Witch.
Young Witch, I can't even begin to explain. I don't. It is hilarious to me that there's a shield in his hand. I didn't even notice Cursed. Cursed Leprechaun also sounds horrible to me. I don't understand that either. I could see getting the Leprechaun shortly later. When did they? They bought a Leprechaun turn. That seems too soon. Chorus forgot to play Young Witch there. Okay, so Chorus's turn forehand was 2 coppers, Estate, Young Witch, and Hermit. I think they forgot the Inspiring effect. They could have played the Young Witch and still played the Hermit using Inspiring. Yeah. And so they just passed up.
I always mess up in Inspiring and that you... How is it called when you gain it? When you buy a province and gain a card? That's...
Fawning.
I always mess up this thing. Fawning, yes.
Yeah, I think the traits are... They're still one of the things I have the least ability to either name or identify by artwork. Okay, so I was already perplexed by the Young Witch. I'm doubly perplexed if we didn't even notice that it had Inspiring attached to it. What was the appeal exactly of opening with Young Witch?
Estate rather than Curse. Why does this make sense to trash the estate over the Curse?
That's a good question. Do they have a hideout in their deck? Who has the hideout?
Oh, maybe. I don't know who.
Yeah.
Who has the hideout?
So that's
the
reason.
That makes a lot of sense.
They want to trash the Curse with the hideout.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense then.
This shield is doing unreasonably much work. Shield is usually one of the worst loots. But it is stopping the Young Witch that shouldn't be starting in the first place. Ooh. Actually, I was surprised they discarded the Leprechaun at first, because I assumed we were trashing the Haunted Mirror, and then I wondered to myself how I thought that Haunted Mirror was getting trashed. Chorus does not have a hideout at the moment.
Oh, okay, interesting. I mean, yeah, that's the easiest way to gain a loot early, but...
I don't know what you do here. Could buy nothing, gain a Madman. It could overpay Farrier for 4 draw. Could buy a Merchant Guild.
Could also go where the village to get another loot.
Do you need more loot right now? What?
I don't know.
They are seeing a very different kingdom than I am. I mean, maybe like a loot or 2 is fine to get the money to kick things off, maybe. But I would want my payload to be Merchant Guild here, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Okay, she goes.
Chorus agrees with you. So Naesala could get a ghost here. Yeah, I'd take that.
Yeah, I hope.
Nope, we do not want a ghost.
No. But you also... Okay, yeah. I thought you don't want to play the Leprechaun here.
I would. Oh, they're.
Oh, they can
Okay.
this way.
Yeah, they're just getting the ghosted another way. This is fine then.
Yeah,
Um.
that makes sense.
Alrighty, Merchant Guild time.
No. No, you gain a ghost as chorus on the next turn, I hope.
Do they have enough actions to activate this leprechaun? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If they had another action in their deck, I would understand this play more. Like, oh, I got a leprechaun coming up, I'll just overpay to activate it. But I think they've only got the 6, right? And so I don't think they can activate leprechaun this turn unless I'm missing something. Oh my goodness. Naesala, did you just play a leprechaun?
Yeah.
This is a scary ghost. There's a leprechaun down there that you really do not want to hit.
Chorus can activate Leprechaun here, right?
Oh, they had a fairy that I apparently was unaware of. Okay, I guess this makes sense then. I was thinking, aside from the 5 cards on hand, they just had the one fairy they had just bought. But apparently, yeah, okay, they played one. Let's start there. Okay, I think their last turn's play makes sense then. If you can activate the leprechaun, this starts to look a lot better. Okay, now we do it all over again. Set aside cemetery, overpay by a million, and the cycle repeats anew.
Yeah, but you can't gain a ghost here, right? That's a bit sad. But
Yeah.
That's the price for activating Leprechaun.
Yep, no ghost.
I'm a bit confused about the Farrier gains with Hermit. Is it just because there is nothing better to gain?
I think that's the answer. They're playing the Hermit to trash, and they don't particularly want a silver. Like Farrier's one play effect is okay, but nothing special. But Hermit gain is mandatory, so gain a cantrip just because you don't want to fill your deck with silvers.
Yeah. I'm curious if someone goes for Ferryman Siren at some point.
Well, one would think from the fact that they gained young witches and leprechauns and such that they must have been planning to get Siren, because why else would you want those actions in your deck? But no.
Okay, Chorus is not going to gain a ghost. Interesting.
Oh, DZ has a good point. Yeah, Siren actually, Siren is normally fine with most start a turn draw, where, like, if you have a Siren and a Barge and a Hireling, you can trigger the Siren draw first, and then draw the other stuff, so you're still getting the full Siren draw. But Siren's actually really bad with end of turn draw, because if you drew 15 cards at the end of your last turn, then the draw to 8 at the start of next turn is just doing nothing. So yeah, Siren's probably not worth it with Farrier around.
But I would expect to see Jousts at some point here.
I could see Joust being relevant, mostly for Renown.
Yeah, the cost reduction is great.
The cost reduction in a deck full of plus buy is quite strong. Alrighty, a Merchant Guild has been gained. I'm excited.
I like Merchant Guild. It's a great card.
I wouldn't even think, like, I didn't think of myself as particularly a fan of Merchant Guild. It's just that all of the kingdoms in this in this match have been really good kingdoms for Merchant Guild, and the players have been overlooking that. All right, Merchant Guild time. You can do it for us. I believe in you. Think about how you won last game. Remember how you got a Merchant Guild and then immediately won the game? Good times.
For sure. I'd like to see a Merchant Guild as well.
Oh, imagine huge turnip with a bunch of coffers already from Merchant Guild. You could have like the $100 turnip. That would be exciting.
That's also great. There's such a reasons to go for Yoast for me here.
Yeah, young.
Interesting. I missed that.
That's deeply upsetting. Silly Potter just wants to go straight for the Joustin province. I would have strongly considered buying that last farrier. Not because you need it, because you don't want your opponent to have the ability to buy it. The other thing I think you could have considered there maybe would have been gaining a ferryman, and then you could. No, I think you trust the leprechaun for a siren because you might need the siren soon with farrier running out. But you do really want to play the leprechaun. All right, we have Joust. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, double Joust. Interesting.
What did I miss there? Did they draw the leprechaun too late? Oh yeah, farrier, ghost, farrier, young witch, hideout, farrier. So the leprechaun was one card too far down their deck to activate. Tragic. Why is that farrier still in the pile?
Naesala went for 2 Jousts without having a province instead of overpaying farrier for this turn.
I would have just bought the farrier and overpaid by all the monies, but just farrier seems good too. Like you didn't need the joust when you have wishes.
Chorus can wish for a Joust then and activate the
exactly.
Renown or...
Like it's not like they needed to get the joust in their deck already when they had wishes.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think of the wishes. Naesala needs a province. Otherwise, the Jousts are not really doing anything for him.
I don't like that they are playing the leprechaun. Like, double attack themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Yes,
presumably Renown. In fact,
yeah, I guess.
do you have a win if you take the renown? It doesn't.
It's only 2 curses and
5 cemeteries.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe this just wins anyway. But I think renown. I mean, it's hard to say this is wrong if it's also deterministically winning.
It's enough buys and it's enough. Yeah, I think that should be.
So you need 20 money. Oh, that's a clever way to lower the curse pile, just gaining leprechauns. So we got 8, 10. This is, yeah, so you could either wish for money to hit 20, or you could just wish for cemetery directly. Either way gets the job done. Oh, they also have enough to pile estates. They have more than 16 and 8 buys.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true. So it's. Chorus, what are you doing? I'm surprised that she doesn't see it because she never missed a win when I played everything.
There were at least 2 different wins there. There's probably a way to pile hermits as well. Like wish for a hermit, use that hermit to gain a hermit. Probably 3 possible wins. Someone's a little bit too excited to get the rewards. They thought they were going to gain renown, but in fact what they gained was infamy.
Renown would have made it really easy there.
House Carl, exciting.
Okay. I mean, it's great draw, but you can just win the game if you take Renown. Here we go with the Renown.
Alright. How many distinct pilots do we have now? I imagine that
how much money is it? Can you just pile the provinces is the question.
Quite possibly. Let's see, you got 12,
Renown?
21, 23, 24, 26. Probably not provinces. I don't think they have a good way to get up to 40. You could definitely do estates or cemeteries or hermits, leprechauns, young witches.
You need
probably not hideouts. I think there's like 5 different pilouts here.
Yeah, I think it's a bunch. And it's nearly the provinces, so. And you can. Oh, it's the provinces. I miscounted.
Oh, I forgot that renown.
I thought
the cost reduction. They didn't need 40. They needed like 30. Okay, yeah.
I didn't forget, but I miscounted the provinces that are left. I thought you need 30 for 5 provinces,
yeah,
but
factoring in renown, which had just totally slipped my mind. They probably could have emptied any pile in that kingdom aside from the treasures. Alrighty.
Okay, so we have 2-2, right?
Final score.
Yeah.
Alright, that's the match.